My half-sister hates me cause I am the product of her dad's cheating, and I told my dad I hate her too. Backstory. So I was the baby born from an affair. My bio dad left his wife and married my mom when she was pregnant with me. My dad had a daughter at that point who was 3, and she split time every other month in spring break to our place. My half sister hated the divorce and she lashed out at her dad for a while and just recently, maybe 3 years ago, forgave him and my mom. But she has always hated me. I was the divorced baby in her eyes. I don't remember this, but my cousin told me that when I was a baby, she refused to do anything with me and constantly screamed when I cried. My dad tried to make her stop, but she never would. Once, I was able to start walking and talking, and such things got bad. She basically tormented me and treated me like her own punching bag. I didn't understand till I was older, and we fought a lot. My dad tried to stop it where he could, but she would just keep coming, and I wasn't about to just get bullied and not stand up for myself. When she hit like 11 and I was 8, she calmed down, and her scream outward hate towards me turned to a low swimmering hate. Whenever I tried talking to her, it was always something like, just go away, go ruin some other mom's life, and some other staff. I remember being like 10 and asking my mom why she hated me, and she, my sister, very clearly said, because you were the reason my mom and dad divorced. My mom tried to tell her that's terrible, and to her credit, she did apologize, but it was first. Main problem right now, I am 16 and she's 19. I have absolutely zero relationship with her, and she still hates me over what happened with her mom and dad. My dad was saying that my sister was gonna be here for almost 2 months because it's spring break, plus the month she would be here. I wasn't happy because it was just another month and a half of tension and feeling like shit for literally existing. My dad asked me why I'm not excited to see my big sister, and I kinda just lost it. I know they made up, but she's never made up with me. I flat out told him why I am not excited to see her. I don't know. Maybe because I fucking hate her? She is the reason home life has been literal hell for me when I'm the one who did nothing. I wasn't the mistress or the one who fucking cheated. My dad told me to watch my mouth and how I talked about him and my mom. I just waved it off and went to my room. Advice on all of this?
Honestly, your parents decided to let her use you as the scapegoat a long time ago. They could have sat her down and told her that you didn't ruin the marriage, they did. They could have addressed the giant elephant in the room and made her work through her feelings with them as mature adults who needed to face the continuing consequences of their actions. It is not your responsibility to parent your sister, and your parents and her mom are clearly failing you here. I think the best route would be to sit your parents down separately from your sister and explain the position they put you in. Tell them it's their job as parents to fix it and handle the consequences of their affair. Be calm, collected, and stick to bullet points. Don't deviate. Explain you are a child without the tools or experience on how to handle the fallout from the affair, and it's not your responsibility to fix your sister. All you can do is react, and you've been patient long enough. Set boundaries, tell them you're gonna walk away from any confrontations and will be honest every time your sister starts to blame you for her parents' divorce. You're allowed to be upset here. But the best way through this is honesty, open-mindedness, and firm, reasonable boundaries. You got this.
Jesus Christ. Your father is a grade A fucking asshole. Not only did he cheat on your mom when he had a 3-year-old, he allowed his own young daughter take the punches for him rather than take responsibility. Your father is a coward. Fucking complete pussy coward trash baby. He's had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to make this better and take accountability. He hasn't. Because he's a coward who cares more about himself than his own child. Oh man. If that guy told me to watch my language, I'd tell him I watch my mouth when he watches where he sticks his fucking dick. I hope you get some therapy. You've had the worst example of what a father and husband is supposed to look like. It's not even funny. Don't let this screw up your future relationships. This is not normal. You deserve so much more than this, and not a single thing is your fault. Not one. I'm so sorry you are going through this. 2 words. Family therapy. Your folks are not handling this well at all if they're just letting her behave how she wants. Well, you voiced how you felt a bit harshly. You didn't say anything false. If they want you two to have a good relationship, they have to help foster that and actually confront this, since it's clearly still an issue for her. The dad needs to take responsibility for his actions and put that girl in therapy. He seriously messed her up with his choices and inability to support and explain things to her. By letting her continue her awful behavior, he is doing neither you or her any favors. She will grow up to be a mean and sad person with daddy/trust issues. Isn't your father to blame for all of this? I never understood people misplacing anger towards irrelevant people. If any anger needs to be vented, it should be at the source, your father. You didn't cheat, your half-sister didn't cheat, your father did. You two should be angry at him for breaking up a family. Additional okay, so since I'm getting up votes, let me add some food for thoughts. You know, when a woman catches her man cheating with another woman, and by some weird backwards logic she goes immediately attack that other woman. Isn't that just such an odd behavior? Technically, that other woman is a complete stranger to her. It's her man that betrayed her. Shouldn't she be beating her man, and not that other woman? Your half-sister is doing the same thing. She's blaming you for just being born, and you're getting angry at her, because she's angry at you. Where's your wonderful can't keep his Johnny tapped in for too long father in all of this? Shouldn't the two of you tag team, and get revenge on your father like some Home Alone scene, because he messed up your lives? What the cat is going on here? Why is logic and common sense just missing in action from 90% of people's thoughts? Where's Jerry Springer? Well, since your parents, for lack of a better word, have allowed you to be the figurehead of their transgressions your entire life, the only thing I can really advise is to make them feel it. Every time your sister comes at you, just turn and direct right to your immature, weaselly parents. Until they get the idea and start addressing the problem with your sister directly. Ultimately, the way I read this was, they're not going to do anything to help you, because they know they shit all over your sister's life until you force them. Also, I get that sister's mean, and maybe even unforgivable in your eyes, but try and look at the shit show they handed her. You don't have to forgive, but at least try to understand. My 2 cents. Her anger is misplaced. She is using you as a figurehead for how she actually feels about her/your father. She needs some form of therapy. What your dad did isn't your fault, but it'll be very hard to make her see that with this amount of resentment and feelings of rejection that have been boiling away inside of her for years. As a person who is in a similar situation as your sister, I fully understand her resentment, albeit misplaced. It's her own feelings of not being enough for her father that make her act it out on you. I think it's because you in essence represent what she feels she's lacking. I'm so sorry you have to deal with it. It's fully not your fault, and it's her and your father's responsibility to deal with his hard feelings. The best thing you can do for yourself is to protect yourself from her emotionally. The therapy suggested by the other comments would be necessary too. Your sister is probably dealing with a massive amount of issues due to the situation, but you are not to blame. I hope everything good to you op. You don't have to be her punching bag. You have done nothing wrong, and you have every right to be alive and well. Maybe it wasn't the best way to say it, but what you said to your father was only the truth. He can't really say, "Aren't you happy to see your sister?" and expect a smile from you. He must know how your sister treats you, but it's easier not to do anything. I would try to talk with both of your parents and explain, as if they wouldn't know already, how your sister treats you, and ask for a solution. If they don't do anything, a fat chance, try to manage the things by yourself. Both of you are older now. Go to your sister and tell her something like, "Okay, I know that you are angry because of the divorce, but you do realize that I didn't really took part of that, don't you? It wasn't me who cheated, and it wasn't me the mistress. So, if you want to be angry with someone, at least have the courage to be angry with the right people. And, if she insists on bullying you, tell her just to fuck off and ignore her pitiful existence. Really ignore he. You know you are not to blame and think how awful she must feel with all her unsolved problems.